Hello and welcome to a new episode of Searching for Happiness with Jasper and Mel. The fourth already, Mel, the episode.
Yeah, it's flying by.
Yeah. The last episode we had a very deep and good conversation with Master O, the pioneer of this practice of Sun Kyeong that we are practicing. And yeah, we had a beautiful conversation about happiness. So,
yeah, I mean, he just passed on so much wisdom, didn't he? And really clear and simple guidance, which is what I like. So we definitely take that into our heart.
If you missed that episode, then go check it out. So in this podcast, we discuss all kinds of aspects of life that we are searching for happiness in. Right?
Yes.
So today we're going to talk about alcohol. Our good old friend, alcohol.
So Jasper, well, let's not go into all our own experiences with alcohol.
Why not?
No, from our own...
Most of them I can't even remember.
Well, exactly. No, I think we've both lived a life and then come out the other side of realizing that alcohol doesn't make us happy.
What does it? What do you think? Does it make you happy or not?
Well, briefly. I think people can have a lot of fun and open their heart, but I'm from the binge drinking country, England, which is notorious for people, getting completely plastered with lots of alcohol. And I think the problem is we use alcohol to cover our pain. No? Yeah. Whereas in other cultures, it can be a little bit more relaxed, and of course, it's fine to enjoy a glass of wine. But certainly from where I'm from, there's such a huge problem of people just either not knowing when to stop drinking or drinking when they're depressed. So then it makes it worse because it's going to bring out whatever's inside, or just really abusing alcohol. But I don't know, what's your experience here? I'm only 2 years in this country, so I don't know your culture with alcohol so much.
I think the culture is more or less the same.
Yeah.
I think, I saw videos on the internet, of course, about English people getting mental, but maybe we have less extreme things like with nights out. But people in the Netherlands, they fight and they do everything when they're drunk. So I think it's not much difference. It's really embedded in the culture to drink. And I don't know anybody. When I was young, I didn't know anybody that didn't drink. Like it's just part of being young and of our culture to have fun, go out, drink. It's really how I say it, an exceptional if you're young and you don't drink. It's quite exceptional. It should be normal, of course, but even if you don't want to drink on a certain night, then people are like, whoa, what's going on?
Yeah. And so our podcast is about searching for happiness. And what's been your experience of trying to use alcohol to make you happy? And
the thing about drinking alcohol is most of the times it gives you such a peak of joy and pleasure, and it's like a drug actually. It is a drug, but then just more accepted than other drugs. I think that it removes all these self-judgment layers and all the awkwardness, all the closeness of your heart. Actually, the moments when I was drunk, I really felt that my heart opened actually in a way. Like I expressed my love more for my friends. That's what, of course, also the other thing can happen. That some people get more angry or whatever. That can it's more what's inside, what you said, like what's inside comes up. But actually, that's what I really like, and think that's what everybody likes, because it actually brings you in a artificial way more back to your natural state, and more open, or natural state is more open and is loving and is caring and more together. And
on the whole, no, I guess it depends what's inside, because I guess we all know people that most of us, we feel more happy and jolly, and then of course it's not like that the next day, but then people that have a lot of, because why do you think some people can drink and manage it and have a nice time and kind of do it in moderation, which is okay, and then some people, they either develop a habit or an addiction, or when they get drunk, something else comes out that's not very nice,
Yeah.
And why is it so hard to get the balance right? And I guess we've both experienced as we get older that, well, it is like you say, it brings pleasure, but it doesn't bring deep happiness, because you have a high and then you have a low.
Very much low.
And it's not the real work of becoming happy through connection.
Yeah.
It's like artificial, like you say.
Yeah.
So what's going on there?
Well, we mentioned this before with relationships. I think it's due to our karma, that the deeper patterns we have, they come out of you when you're drunk. So when you have deeper patterns of anger or deeper patterns of sadness, then these things can come out more, because when you're sober, you don't get, well, most of the time not as fast as emotional as when you're drunk, because then just this happens, and the whole state, well, that's what I experienced with myself, but also with friends, like then the whole mood is totally changed, and some deep sadness comes out, and you think, what's going on? There's nothing going on, and now you're like super sad all of the sudden.
Yeah. And do you think, the more I kind of get to know people, get to know myself, I realize, well, especially in the West, I mean, we have this practice in Mexico, and they're a bit more expressive and open, I would say, in all ways. But especially in Europe, we don't really know how to express our emotions very well in all ways. And so there's so much that's closed inside and so much that's kept inside. And if we could learn how to express our emotions in a healthy way, controlling our emotions and giving love to our emotions, and just being a bit more clear with ourselves and with people around us, then when we drink, it might be easier. But because everything is so closed inside and not expressed in the right way or built up, so like anger builds up or sadness builds up, then when we drink, that will all come out in one way or another, either then or the day after.
And you need the drink to feel that kind of relief, because there's like unconscious, you're building up all these emotions or stress from the whole week, and then it's weekend, you think, now I'm gonna let it all out by drinking, actually.
Yeah. I mean, personally, I used to, it's interesting you talk about karma, because we do tend to have certain habits that we inherit from family. Yeah. And I remember when I was younger, I didn't drink every day, but I did love to party and binge drink. And it was like when, not always, but if I wasn't in a good place, I would start drinking and not be able to stop. And later, and it was sort of like I became not myself, and I can look back and have that feeling of like I wasn't in control of myself. Something was taking over me. And now I don't have that. I mean, now I don't drink, or maybe a sip, but I don't have that craving for it anymore, because I think I've cleared a lot of the patterns. But when I realized that these patterns could be inherited and that these patterns are so deep inside of us, and I worked on clearing those, I realized, okay, that pattern of addiction can be passed down, and then that is inside of us. And then when we have that urge or that desire to drink, it can be uncontrollable. Whereas some people, they can really manage it, but it really depends what's been connecting to us. And then I realized I didn't know my grandfather, but he was an alcoholic. I think it was very much related to certain patterns coming from family members. And when I cleared that, it was so interesting, because I went from having that like need to drink and then go a bit crazy to not needing it at all. And of course, we're always talking about connection being the most important thing. But once I found connection, it was like that replaced the desire. And I've met a lot of people where I can kind of, this sounds weird, but even giving them a treatment it's like with acupressure and sound, I can feel this deep desire or pattern inside of them.
For alcohol.
Yeah, or to be honest, I think the pattern addiction to whatever is coming from the same place.
Yeah.
And it's a very deep pattern. It's not easy to break. And often it's inherited, but then we create our own pattern. So it becomes a pattern from family and our own. And then it becomes stronger and stronger and stronger. But I often feel like in the lower part of someone's belly, a deep depression or anger that's probably the source of it. And then at the end of the day, we don't like pain, right?
Yeah.
And we want to be comfortable, which is fair enough. And we want to be happy, but we don't know how to truly be happy. And doing the work to connect with yourself, connect with the universe, it does take a bit more effort.
Yeah.
And drinking a glass of wine is much easier to numb the pain. But I've had clients recently where I can see, oh wow, it's such a spiral once you go on that path. And whereas other people, they maybe have more light, or they're a bit more the connection is a little bit more solid, and then they can take it or leave it and do it in a bit more of a healthy way.
Yeah.
What I realize with this practice is, for me, it's not so much about, we all know alcohol isn't so good for us unless we have a little bit, but it's also about the vibration. So we're meant to be in a very high vibration, and that keeps us happy and open and compassionate and wise and really clear and really loving and with energy. And then when we drink, the vibration drops. And now even if I have a tiny sip of alcohol, I can feel my vibration change. And that's fine. But I realize, oh, wow, I start to realize what I was doing to myself in the past and why I would get in a place of, not really being able to make wise decisions.
Yeah, exactly.
And so your vibration changing takes you to a much lower place, and then many other energies connect with you. And that's tricky, I think. Because
so you pick up other energies from other people. And negative energy that's influencing your state, actually, and your mind, your emotions.
Exactly.
Everything.
And then you don't even, because whenever we take anything that's sort of, a drug or something it's like altering our vibration or our state.
Yeah.
And of course, I know people have like really beautiful experiences with alcohol, drugs, many things.
Yeah.
But the problem is, I think, first of all, we take ourselves often to a lower vibration and attract other things at that vibration. And also, even if we have a beautiful experience, we start to rely on that outside thing to have that experience. And then once that experience is over, probably we have a low. And then we need to take that thing again to have another high. And it does replace doing the work. Like doing the work of looking at yourself, seeing what emotions are there, giving love to those emotions to clear them, practicing connecting with light, practicing a positive mind. That work is daily and consistent and not easy, because we have to face lots of things in ourselves, but it's going to build a much stronger foundation at the end of the day. Yeah,
and the beautiful thing is that what you said, like, since I've been doing this practice and cleared all these deeper patterns and all the inherited patterns, I just don't feel any need for alcohol. It's not that I don't want to drink it, or sometimes I do, but I remember when I was younger, I was really looking forward to the weekend, and I think a lot of people have that too. Think, okay, then I can have a party again, or then I can have a drink. Like, throughout the week, I wouldn't drink because I would say professional.
Very good.
But because I was working a lot, making these shows for television, and I knew how bad I felt after drinking. So throughout the week, I just didn't want to drink at all. But the weekend were the moments, and like, it's where you look out for, because then you can have that kind of relief and but then, oh man, the days after, I felt so bad, not only physical but emotional. I felt so depressed and awful. I've been through awful days. Like, I think that if I count all the days that I've been like in that state, it's when you look back, if you would know that, then you think, why did I do that?
Such a waste of days, but then you do it again, don't you?
Yeah, that's so weird. And you feel so awful, and like physical, emotional, like I couldn't even get out of bed some days, and then the next week you just want to do it again. You just forget all of that. It's so weird, right? How our mind works.
Do you think, because we talked about this with Master O last podcast, and he said it's not ideal to go too high or too low. Yeah. We should be somewhere in the middle. That's like the sweet spot. But but I think it's so normal, isn't it, to crave and we talked about you as well, being high and low. And I guess what I start to feel is, because we're so disconnected on the whole, then our life can be beautiful, but it's not fulfilling us in the really deep way it's meant to. So then, of course, we crave these, highs of taking alcohol, drugs. And of course, sometimes you can have beautiful experiences, and it's not like it's all wrong, but the problem is craving those highs. Like you need it to feel alive. When actually, if we're fully connected, then we wake up, we see the sky, and we feel that happiness. I remember a point where I gave up alcohol because I just wasn't well enough to drink. And all my friends, like you say, all my friends were drinking and didn't really like it, but they eventually accepted it. And I remember going to kind of festivals and parties and being completely sober, and people around me drinking and things, and feeling that high and that natural high, and then being able to drive home and being happy and healthy the next day, and thinking, okay, it is possible. It is possible. And it takes quite a lot of willpower and confidence, because everyone's going to judge you, but it's possible. And I much prefer this, because like you, the days after would just be awful otherwise. And then of course, you know, if there's a group of people drinking, no one wants to be left out or seen as the boring one or the sober one. But actually what I realize is, if you're confident enough, then I remember just having much better conversations with people, rather than just things that you don't forget and that you don't remember, And everything a bit more meaningful. But I guess there's a phase of life for everything, right? And trying things and experimenting isn't a bad thing, because you're finding out who you are. It's just how do you create the boundaries so that it doesn't go too far, and that you don't, if you have a depressive tendency, I think that's where it's a little bit tricky, because you're going to end up, like you say, having those days where you just feel so low. And then it's a vicious cycle of highs and lows.
Yeah, the many times I said, I'm never going to drink again. And then the next week you do it again.
Yeah, I remember that as well. But I do think you get to a certain age. For me, I think getting unwell physically was my biggest blessing, because that made me, I couldn't drink anymore or very small amount, because I would just be so unwell. Like you, I valued my career. I was very busy with theatre. So I ended up making choices. Okay, it's not worth it anymore.
Yeah, so it's good that you say this, because we have a question again.
Oh, yes.
From Mark. And he's asking this. I keep noticing that alcohol is always connected to fun and socializing. Whenever I decide not to drink, people look at me as if I'm strange, or they joke that I'm being boring. Sometimes it feels like I don't really have a choice, because saying no makes me stand out. Why is it so hard to go against the culture around alcohol, and how can I stay true to myself without feeling left out?
That's a good question, Mark.
Yeah, well, you already answered it a little bit about it when you had that, but you had a good reason, because you could say, I'm physically not well.
Yeah.
But I had this as well, that sometimes I just felt like, because I was more already on a spiritual path and wanted to be more healthy, but... Then saying that it's always difficult for people. They just don't understand it. So what would be your advice? What could you do?
Well, it's coming from a male, and I think it's nice to hear your advice first.
I think it comes down to what you're already saying. It's building that connection with yourself, and what we do with this practice with the universe. So you fill yourself up with a vibration of peace and calmness, and you feel more connected with yourself, so you don't feel so anxious and not worried about what people think. And since I've been doing that, I really don't care if people judge it or not, and it's their decision. But I feel just so on a deeper level confident with myself that I don't worry so much about what people think.
Mark, it's very tricky. I mean, but it's totally doable. I think, you know, what we've been talking about in the other episodes, which is growing the love for yourself, you know, And even like really awkward things, like you I don't know, whatever your morning routine is, you're saying I love you, and you're really starting to tune into who you are, and you're really starting to grow this love for yourself, which then helps you give it to others. When you really have love for yourself, then you decide what you do depending on what is good for you, what's really good for you, and then you show real respect for yourself. And then you show not only respect for yourself, respect for the universe that's given you your life, I believe. Yeah. So if you really love yourself, you do what's good for yourself, And so maybe that is having one drink because you want to relax, or a few, and maybe you really don't want to. And so rather than seeing it as like a negative thing, I have to block this and I can't drink and I have to say no, see it as a beautiful act of love for yourself, which is like, I'm going to do what I need today. And that is not drink. And then if someone's challenging you or they're saying you're boring, you really grow that love for yourself. And then you tell someone with love, with warmth, with openness, with confidence, then people accept it more, I find. Because if you're really happy, then that happy vibration is coming out, Yeah,
the thing is so beautiful what you said, like, if you really know why you don't want to drink, like because you want to respect yourself and want to, feel love for yourself and take care of yourself, then if you really, because otherwise you're like, why should I? I could just drink, But if you really realize that, like, no, I just want to really take care of myself today, then it's easier also to stay with that decision.
And it sort of brings me on to, because alcohol is one thing, but there's addictions to so many things, and food is another big one, right? That we use to cover our emotions. And I definitely used to emotionally eat all the time, and I don't feel the need so much anymore. And I think because of the connection and because of filling yourself with love. But you can look at everything physically you're doing in your life, and we need to put things in our body. We can't starve ourselves, but everything we put in our body should be good for us. What helped me is not just, love yourself, which is true, but really respect the universe that's given you this body, and you get to live on this earth with a physical body, and you get to breathe the air and see the sunshine and be in nature. And that is such a beautiful gift. Life is so precious. So,
for instance, an alcohol addiction, how does it work? Does it come out like when you have this inherited patterns, like what you said, like you had grandparents or even higher ancestors?
Yeah,
they had this pattern of an addiction for alcohol.
Yeah,
then it go passed down every generation, and even you have that already as a blueprint inside of your system.
Exactly that. Yeah.
But when does it come out? Does it only come out when you drink, or how does it work?
It's a really good question. Well, from my understanding and what I've learned through what I'm doing at the moment is karma is so strong. And we have two types of karma. So we have the karma from our family and ancestors, which can be many, many generations back. And we also have the karma of our own spirit, which is, you imagine our spirit has been through many lifetimes of also creating patterns. And karma can be good and bad. But when we generally talk about karma now, I mean the negative karma, the heavy karma, which we're all carrying. And the opposite of that is our light, the light from our spirit. But we have so many patterns, and I think some of them we're really aware of them and we're trying to change, or we can't change them. And some of them we're really unaware and they're really unconscious, or subconscious, let's say. So, let me give an example. I've helped a lot of people with addiction, and I've seen through healing the family patterns, the huge change, which has been incredible. If, for example, a grandfather has an alcohol addiction, quite strong, and he passes away, so this comes into the belief of life after death, and that energy never dies, and that the spirit and mind continue. So the spirit has exactly the same brightness as when you leave this world, and the mind has everything the same thinking, emotions and desires, which is what makes up our mind. So the level of light that when we pass away and leave this world is fixed, and the state of our mind is fixed. And the body is the thing that, is recycled by the earth. And
so the light and the darkness, actually, what you've created, is you're still carrying that.
You still carry it, and it's what you take with you.
Yeah.
And many people, of course, this is, people have different beliefs, but many people understand that there are spirits or ancestors in the world amongst us, and that energy never dies, so that life is actually eternal. And therefore, what we've created over many, many lifetimes before this one dictates how we are in this lifetime. And the things that we've done, it's like the law of nature. And it's like Einstein says, every action has an equal and opposite reaction. So basically, what is put out into the universe with your vibration,
you get back.
Comes back, always. And that is karma, and, for good and bad. But when we realize that, of course, we can think, oh, why is this happening or this happening? But I think once you realize something is karmic, at least you can take responsibility for it. And at least you can, you can't change what's happened in the past, but you can change how you clear the karma and how you create more light, Anyway, going back to alcohol. So if there's an alcoholic grandfather who passes away, and then there's a grandson who doesn't drink alcohol at all, maybe let's say he works in the office in the city, but he starts getting stress and he starts to have a drink, what can happen is the energy from the spirit of his grandfather starts to connect with him. And then, so because as soon as we go to a lower vibration, we can attract spirit ancestors at that vibration. It's why keeping a happy mind, keeping a bright mind is so, so important. But the karma from our ancestors is there. It's fixed. It's a bit like a weight. And there's the other side, which is the good talents and things we inherit. But the negative karma is fixed, and that will connect with us when we are at a similar vibration. And so, personally, I was very, very happy. And then when my energy started getting lower, I started, having stress at work, started getting anxiety. All that anxiety, I think, from my ancestors started to connect with me. And often it's not just one ancestor, it's many. But in my case, the only ancestor I knew was my grandmother, who was very fond of me. And I had a very close relationship with her. And she was in hospital for her nerves and anxiety for a year when she was a teenager. She had real anxiety issues. And it's only when I look back, and she died when I was about 19, and my anxiety, my back pain, a lot of things started to get worse after that.
Because her spirit started to connect with you.
The energy from her spirit connecting with me. But I had no idea that was happening, of course. But we have hundreds of ancestors, so many of them can be connecting with us without us even knowing. And so that's why with addiction, it's quite important to talk about the karma, because sometimes it's so ingrained in us. Like you say, it's like the blueprint, but then we create our own pattern. So with the example of the grandfather and the grandson, it becomes both. It becomes the karma of the ancestors, that pattern, but also his own pattern. And the longer it goes on, the more deep it's going to get.
Yeah, so you create actually more karma by continuing that pattern. Exactly.
And so the way to shift that is we need to clear the pattern from the ancestors. It's like cleaning the foundation, cleaning the whole soil. If you're going to build a house, you want to build it on a clean, strong foundation.
Yeah.
And so with helping the ancestors, we create that foundation. Then the new life grows strongly, cleanly, purely. And we can change that pattern. And the other part that's really important is our own connection, like we've been talking about, connection with the light, connection with our spirit, connection with the love, because there's always a choice, I believe. And Master O says this, he says, every moment you're either connecting with your light or with your karma. So you're either connecting to the past without realizing, or you're connecting to your light. And and when you realize that in every single moment, we're choosing that without even realizing, you realize we do have quite a lot of power to change. But the thing with addiction is it's quite deep. The pattern is quite deep. So that's why it can take a bit of time. You need to clear the root, and then
and then if you don't clear
yourself.
These inherited patterns, and like what you said, because the spirits of your ancestors still connect with you, then it's not only your patterns. So it's actually more stronger, and it feels like it's only you when you have addiction or feel these emotions.
Yeah.
But it's actually all of the weight that you carry from them as well, all these inherited patterns.
And often you don't even realize, like you say, because it's just you.
Yeah.
But my experience was when I cleared it, I realized how much I'd been carrying. And then I started to feel who I was suddenly. And then I could grow that in an easier way. So the karma from our ancestors and our own emotions is very mixed. And what I see in people when they clear the karma is just this original light from their spirit start to come out. And like literally you see it in their face. You see it in their face throughout the process. And then once they've finished, it starts to grow more and more and more over a long time. And that's really beautiful because it's you know, a permanent process in terms of helping ancestors and clearing karma. But it's such an interesting subject because we don't realize a lot of this, you know.
Yeah.
And in the East, it's very normal to talk about ancestors, to talk about karma, to talk about, you know, what's connecting with us. And in Mexico, where we have centers, people, you know, it's so interesting the difference. They will be crying the moment you talk about ancestors, or they will be like hearing their ancestors, seeing them. They have a whole story.
Yeah.
And in Europe on the whole, the work that we do here, it's of course it's an experience, and it's working with vibration, and it's working with the invisible world. So if you're really in your head, you're not going to understand or feel anything, and you're going to judge it and be closed. And you know, it's fine. Everyone has a different way, I think. But when you open your heart to go, maybe the world is bigger than just the physical world that we can touch and see, touch and feel and see. Then it's incredible what we can realize and understand and experience.
It helped me a lot. So these deeper patterns, we talked about this before, but I had these deeper patterns of anxiety and sadness and depression, and most of it is really, really cleared. And I think because of that, I don't feel the need anymore for for drinking and going out and partying. Not that there's nothing wrong with that. I think people need to enjoy life, but first I was craving it, and craving makes you actually suffer, because craving is not a nice feeling.
No.
So, and if you're just really content with yourself and with life, then it makes it so much easier.
And so what was your process? You cleared the karmic patterns, you helped your ancestors, and then did you notice you still had your own patterns? Yeah,
of course. Then, but then when the what you say, the foundation is cleared, it's easier to see your own patterns and also face them. And I think before I was just like a mess, and of course I was a lot of times happy and but it was like really high and really low, like
roller coaster.
And now it's so much more stable, and of course I still can get. It's not like I'm fortunately not yet like enlightened, like I'm totally
you're on the way.
I'm on the way, but I'm not totally free from any pattern, of course, because what you say, it's in this practice we believe you have patterns from very many lifetimes,
and there's layers, right? So it's you know, it's a life work, I would say.
So I'm still clearing that, but it's such a big difference than years ago. It's like it's hard to explain, but it's like I've been living in a house, and it was a nice house and I enjoyed myself, but then I saw, there's a door, and I opened the door and there was the sunlight, and I felt like, wow, this is also possible. Like it's you can't explain this without experiencing it. And that's why and that's what I love about this practice that we do with Sun Kyeong, is that in the beginning it's like you don't know why you're gonna do this, because it's something invisible, like karma. You cannot see or touch it, like it's something, but you feel that you have these patterns and emotions. So it's you have to take a step, and like in the unknown, I would say, to know what it is. But when you do that and you take that kind of leap of faith, then you get the result, and then you feel, wow, this is beautiful. So
what I see in you, in a nutshell, to sum it up, is when I met you're a beautiful person, a good-looking person, but you had like sad sad eyes. There was just a bit of like really sad energy coming from you, quite strongly.
That's why I've seen pictures now.
Yeah,
as well,
but you didn't know it, you know.
No.
And now it's like coming out of your face, so much light and so much real happiness, but like clarity as well. And it's a huge change.
So thank you again, Mel. I think it was really deep again about alcohol and about addictions, and there was a lot to discuss again.
Yeah, who knew? Who knew? We don't plan what we're going to say, so it's interesting what comes out.
Yeah. So thank you for listening or watching again to Searching for Happiness. We hope this can help you look at your own patterns and look at how you're dealing with alcohol or any other addiction. And if you have any question, let us know. We would love to answer them. And next week we are back with a new episode. Yeah. Okay, thank you for listening, and give us a like, subscribe, share it to all your friends, and see you next time.
See you.
Bye.